One warm summer afternoon, Patrick walked down the old country road near the edge of town. As he passed a small stone cottage, he stopped and stared. Tall weeds covered the flower beds, vines climbed the porch rails, and the grass had nearly reached the windows. Why would anyone let their home get like this? He wondered quietly. That evening, Patrick asked Margaret about the old cottage near the woods. "Oh, that's the Miller's home," she explained gently. "Mr. and Mrs. Miller are very old now." She looked down sadly for a moment. It's become hard for them to take care of everything alone. Later that night, Patrick sat quietly thinking about the cottage. For the first time, he no longer saw an ugly yard. He imagined two elderly people trying their best to keep up with work they could no longer manage alone. Suddenly, the overgrown weeds no longer seemed nearly as important as the people living behind them. The next morning, Patrick gathered an old rake, gardening gloves, hand clippers, and a little push mower from beside the shed. As he carried them toward the road, his father smiled curiously. "Going somewhere?" he asked. Patrick nodded softly. "I think the Millers might need some help." Patrick nervously walked up the stone path and knocked on the cottage door. A few moments later, Mrs. Miller opened it slowly and looked surprised to see him standing there with gardening tools. "I was wondering if maybe I could help clean up your yard," Patrick said shyly. Mrs. Miller's eyes softened immediately. "That would mean so much to us," she whispered. Patrick spent the afternoon trimming weeds, raking leaves, and slowly mowing the tall grass beneath the warm summer sun. Little by little, the yard began changing. The old walkway became visible again, and flowers hidden beneath weeds finally saw sunlight once more. Mrs. Miller watched quietly from the porch with a grateful smile. Patrick continued returning to the cottage throughout the spring and summer. Some days he watered flowers. Other days he trimmed bushes or cleaned fallen branches after storms. Slowly, the cottage began feeling alive again. Flowers bloomed beside the porch, and neighbors passing by smiled at the once-forgotten home. One evening, Mr. Miller stepped onto the porch while Patrick finished raking beneath the oak tree. He looked across the yard quietly before smiling softly. "This place hasn't looked this beautiful in years," he said gently. Patrick smiled shyly, his heart feeling warm and full. As the sun set behind the hills, Patrick walked home beside Margaret along the quiet country road. Behind them, the little stone cottage glowed warmly beneath the golden evening light, while Mr. and Mrs. Miller sat peacefully on the porch together. Margaret smiled proudly at Patrick. "Sometimes small acts of kindness mean more than we realize," she said softly. "Whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me." Matthew 25:40.